Welcome.
Woo! Wow.
Welcome to the Spiel des Jahres event, Kennerspiel des Jahres and Kinderspiel des Jahres event here live from Berlin. We have a full house here. It is wonderful that all of you have come here. We have a great international audience, but also many bloggers, YouTubers, media from Germany and all over the world. Everybody is here. This is a record. The event has never been visited by more people, and it's great. And finally, Berlin is the capital of games. Hello also to everybody watching the live stream in German, but we will also have English parts because we have an international audience. And for our international audience, this is
we want to be accessible
very
for
good.
Everybody, so there will be an English stream. You will find the link in the description below. And I always wanted to make this gesture. Yeah.
Abo und Glocke dalassen, muss man da, glaube ich, noch sagen.
Ja, genau.
Zur Agenda, wir haben,
So as regards the agenda, we have a very full agenda. We have 3 awards to bestow, but we are not just basically the award winners, but also the games that are on the recommendation list. We start with the Kinderspiel, then we continue with the Kennerspiel, and the highlight of the evening, of course, is the Spiel des Jahres. Absolutely, yeah. So let us get started with the first category, the Kinderspiel des Jahres. So, of course, we have wonderful videos that we composed, and if you don't know the games as yet, these videos give you an insight into these games, and the first video is Cascadia Junior.
Cascadia
Junior takes you into the diverse landscapes and wildlife of Cascadia. Each round, you choose a habitat tile to expand your landscape. You try to attract new animals by placing 3 of the same species next to each other. This earns you animal scoring tokens, which you place on your board. At the end, you score extra points for connected areas. If you're looking for a bigger challenge, you can flip the animal cards and play with advanced rules. Only those who puzzle cleverly will collect the most pine cones and win the game.
Ja.
wir haben
Komm.
Jo, du bist nicht die Autorin.
Joe, you're not the author of the game. You are a member of the jury. You are a new member of the jury. You are in the red and anthracite jury, but you have been in the blue jury for quite a while. So please tell us something about the junior version of Cascadia. Cascadia Junior is a very atmospherical game like Cascadia is. It's a tile-based game, and it is broken down to the age group of kids aged 6+. And in addition to our tile-based game, we also have a tableau where the animals can be placed on. I mean, this is basically an unnecessary playful element. It is unnecessary, but it adds new flair, and you can play with the animals, which is really nice. Okay, so this is a Cascadia feeling for the kids, would you say, or does it feel totally different? No, it is definitely a Cascadia feel and feeling that you get. So animals have to belong together, landscapes have to belong together, but we broke it down to kids. So it is, or everything is connected, what we get, and you can puzzle very well. You don't have to make too many decisions, but you still have enough diversity, and it's still very exciting. For the nomination, we always have a certificate, and we would like to ask for Tessa Alice and Randy Flynn to join us on stage. Welcome to both of you. We will talk to all 3 nominees on stage in a minute, so let us take a look at Mausobande, which is also nominated for the Kinderspiel des Jahres. We also have a video on Mausobande. Here we go.
In die Mausobande,
you're helping the Tooth Fairy, and together you set off in search of the lost baby teeth of the animal children. On your turn, the other mice can give you clues to help you find the right animal. If you're correct, you get to collect a tooth of the matching size. The game also includes a version for slightly older mice, which expands the basic game. You can only win if you manage to find all the lost teeth before sunrise.
Ja. Also. Ja, das ist Mausobande.
Yeah, this is Mausobande. So, we know memory games. I mean, basically, it is similar to a memory game, isn't it? What is different? Yeah, it is really fascinating to see that we still have memory games that are attractive. We have different tiles that we have to collect, and we need to find animals that have exactly the same size. It's quite exciting because information over time becomes less important or more important. If we don't have big teeth anymore, we don't need big animals anymore, and vice versa. So you have to use your knowledge accordingly. Well, the game does not have a memory aspect. It also has different characters. How important are the characters for the game, and how important are they for the kids? Well, it creates a certain atmosphere when you play. We have 5 different mice. We have the mouse with a skateboard. We have then Vera, who knows the forest very well, and every kid has their favorite mouse that they play with. And there's also a small story involved, so you can identify with the mice. And which one is your favorite mouse? Well, the one with the round glasses. That's my favorite one. The author unfortunately couldn't come today, but we got a few words of greetings from him, Christophe Leross. Let us take a look at it.
Hello everyone, I am Christophe, the game designer of the Mausobande. I apologize for not being with you all. I would have loved to share this moment with you. I want to thank the jury for the game's nomination, the debacle team who believed in the project, and Marie Delbon and Benjamin Triou, and tonight especially Game Factory, who appreciated the game, saw its potential, and allowed more people to discover it. Since the nomination, I have been very touched and honored. It's already a wonderful achievement. Board games are a fantastic tool for socialization and opening minds. Let's continue to cultivate the gaming culture. Thank you, Dankeschön, have a great evening, and long live board games.
Ja. Ja.
Thank you very much, Christophe Leross, for these words of greetings. Now, the certificate will be received by Julien Tallet from Debacle G. And last but not least, we have a third nominee regarding the Kinderspiel, which is Topp Torte.
In Topp Torte,
the most talented cake bakers compete to create the most stunning cake. You try to select the right tile using visual judgment to match cake layers by color. This earns you sugar cubes, which you collect in your jars to trade for point chips, and for a chance to gain even more sugar cubes. The player who stacks the most skillfully and has baked up the most victory points earns the topper for their cake and wins the game. A very sweet topic, of course, which is probably not just appealing for kids. Yeah, definitely. I love baking cakes. I love eating cakes. And of course, there's a cake in front of me, which is great. I love it. All right, let us ask him to join us on stage, the inventor of the game, Wolfgang Warsch. We want to talk to him, so welcome, Wolfgang.
Gratuliere.
So, let's start the
All
discussion
right.
with you guys. I mean, obviously it's an adaptation of your previous game. So how did you come up with finding you together to make the game, and how did this work, and how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so Flat Out and Cosmos really believed in the potential of a Cascadia Junior, and Randy reached out to see if I would be interested in collaborating with him to create a kids games. I'd had some experience making kids games before, and I felt like there was a lot of potential to create a version of Cascadia that directly appealed to young players.
Yeah, so I had known for Tessa for a few years playing games and talking about design and really loved the stuff that she was doing. And I knew that we had a challenge with Cascadia because the base game with the family rules already works very well for children. So I knew it was a challenge to make something that was different and unique and would appeal to a larger audience. And so it was great to work with her and make that come to light. And of course, again, have Beth Sobel on the art, because really Cascadia games in the end are often a canvas for Beth's work.
Yeah. Did you guys get connected with Wolfgang? Because he already did it like a couple of times, making junior games out of his game, right? So did you two met before?
No, we just, oh, sorry for that. No, we just met the first time like 3 hours ago, and I had to tell them how much my kids loved your game, and we have played it like 10 times within the last 2 months. So,
Yeah.
Mit Cascadia haben wir ja die great
With Cascadia, we have the great outdoors on the table. With Topp the Torte, we have the great indoors, don't we? For all who do not want to catch the salmon out of the river, than the pieces of a cake. I mean, it's a special challenge to develop games that are intriguing both to parents and to kids. And the parents don't really have to pretend that they can't really play as well or better than the kids, actually. How did you try to circumvent this? Well, I can underline this. When it comes to kids' games, I also want to like playing the game, you know? We have many kids' games at home that my kids like, and it's great that they enjoy this, but I also want to enjoy these kids' games. So we play together very often, and I noticed that gauging optical dimensions and objects, so visual gauging basically, is difficult for both adults and for kids. When it comes to visual gauging of dimensions and sizes and shapes, kids and adults are pretty much the same. And with Topp Torte, this was kind of my mechanism, because I wanted to make sure that both kids and parents can play together. So thank you. I mean, it's very difficult to prevent kids from trying certain things, isn't it? Well, obviously, I have very well-educated kids. No, I have 2 kid testers at home, and very well-behaved kids. Well, if you do it in the first games, we let the kids do it if they like it, you know, and if they don't like it, well, then, yeah.
The same question goes for you guys. We asked Wolfgang, what's the challenge making a game that it's equally attractive to kids, but also makes fun, not makes fun of the parents, but gives the parents a lot of joy as well?
Yeah, that was the idea from Christoph to have a game that everyone could enjoy with kids and parents, obviously. And the first batch first idea was the 9 tile games, but then we found with the 16 tiles there was a game that would be able to be played with parents and with a real story.
What was the element of the game that convinced you this might be something special?
I think we always thought the idea in France we have la petite souris. You have the tooth fairy, maybe. And I think that kind of thing is for every kid. It's a dream to you have a dream of that little in French the souris, the mouse, and I think the really good idea is to put emphasis to the mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, from our perspective as Game Factory, the story was definitely part of it, because La Petite Zurich is really not known in Germany as well at all. But for us, it was also that the game just grows with the kids. So you can play it for a very long time with the kids and make it more difficult and expand upon the game. That's what really drove it home for us.
Yeah. So the challenges grow with the kids, as always.
So sometimes I have the feeling that kids games sometimes like give you a lot of energy, and the kids get very like hyped and stressed because they feel that they can win against the parents. In your game, I have the feeling everybody calms down. Was that something you did intentionally?
I think that's really just kind of a Cascadia vibe for the most part that we go in for, and I think we listened to Cosmos and other folks talking about how kids like to just play with the pieces, and so what is it about the Pacific Northwest landscape that we can let them just play around with, and that's why we have the panorama, which doesn't really serve a purpose for the gameplay, but gives you something to do to make this nice beautiful thing, and so we see the kids play with the components a lot after games, like they're done, they've won, they've lost, and now they're playing around with the tiles.
And making nice little pictures. And
Das ist, glaube ich, auch was
I think this is something which applies to Topp Torte. It is kind of blurring the border between toy and game regarding some components that kids say, oh, I want the golden part, doesn't matter what else is happening. Yeah, this is one of the nicest games that we have at home, where the material is used for different purposes after playing the game. The Kinderspiel des Jahres, Stone Age Junior, we have it at home, and we play around in 15 minutes, and after that my daughter or my son play with the different tiles and the huts that are there, and they play different games, and then the dog or the wolf is the pet or whatever. So I think if you can kind of abuse such a game, then do it for other activities. It's an additional gain.
About the blurring lines between games and toys, because children tend to play with the components. Did you observe that too here?
We understood that now it's a big part of the game, that we are in our next game there will be figurines in there, and for sure it's a big part of the success now of the game, and I think you're right. Game and toys are game and toys are now in the same family.
Well, we have seen a few junior versions of your adult games. When will there be a Topp Torte senior version? Well, I have heard this question before. Well, let's wait and see. It can happen that a Kinderspiel will be produced, which will be followed by an adult game, but let's wait and see. I don't know.
Congratulations for the nomination.
Now we will increase the tension and excitement. You guys can sit down again.
Make it a little bit more excitement until the winner. Thank you. Thank you and good luck. So.
All right, you know about this saying, don't forget about the nominees after drawing the winners. And of course, we don't want to forget about the recommendation list either. No, definitely not. That's a very, very important thing, that this year's cohort isn't just the individual winners, but also we only have winners here in this room today. That's right, and that's why we want to speak to Christoph Schlewinski, who's the head of the Kinderspiel jury. Wow, I was just in the makeup room to get my face looking a little bit younger. Yeah, you did great. Wonderful. Well, let's talk about something else, shall we? Yes, we will. Okay, let's go to the games. So there is this recommendation list also for the Kinderspiel. Could you talk about it? And, well, in general, how was this year's cohort? Let's talk about the games. Let me tell you the following. Ever since the pandemic, the number of new releases has been going down. So why is that? Why are less and less children's games being released. Why don't the publishers publish more children's games? It's not like we don't know which ones to nominate, but we would like to see more games to choose from. Why are there less publications? Dear publishers, look at the situation. That's all I want to say to you. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so how many games did you see this year that were relevant, that you played and tested? Let me tell you, just to compare it, there were years in which we looked at 150 games for the children's games, and this year we only looked at 80 new releases, and that had us thinking, well, it would have been nicer to choose from more games. But still, we have 6 wonderful games, 3 nominated ones, 3 recommended ones. We still found them. So let's take a look at the recommendation list, shall we? Of course, you can see everything also on the website. There's a lot of information there on the website, but let us give you a little bit of an overview. Okay, High-Low, Dein Königreich is a card game where you build 2 landscapes and you make sure that you match the 7-point coins, so you get more points. And also there's a unicorn's guardian and a wolf's guardian. And next thing, we have Isla a la Vista, which is also a great game, and everyone needs to remember what is there on the island where we need to go. And then we can see there's a dolphin through the telescope, and well, what else was there? Can't quite remember. Let's hope for the best. And that's the captain who's on the lookout, and children don't actually have to memorize everything, but this is a great game. Third thing is syllabus. This is about stars, and it's not just about rolling the dice, but I can move around as much as I can name a word with syllables. If I use 3 syllables, then I can move on 3 steps. So that way I collect my stars, and the one who's collected the stars first has won. Okay, wonderful. So I'm counting my syllables now, and you can imagine how we move on that way. Great list, thank you. But now we want to know who is the winner. And you got some help to find out who the winner is. So let me call to the stage Katja Sass and Anton Rosenthal and Esme Taube of Neue Grundschule Potsdam. It's a Potsdam primary school near Berlin. Hi there. Hi there. How are you? And you're just in the right position. Just come forward, kids. Great, wonderful. So I wasn't supposed to ask you any question, was I? Right, I won't. Okay. I'm not supposed to forget. So I'll turn to you, Miss Sass. It was your idea to offer board games at your school. Tell us what that was all about. Well, we formed like a workshop offer once a week for the kids at the school, and instead of going to lunch, kids can play board games once a week. I had this idea because, well, I love playing board games myself, so I use board games in class to give those kids a reward who are already done with their tasks, and if they're done, they can play Flip 7, for example. And the kids, of course, have to learn how to play the games. I can't do that in class. My 5th grade kids can already study the manuals themselves, but with the 1st grade students, they can't do that, and we have to do that outside of class. And with your board game workshop, you also turn to the Playing for Tolerance project, which we also show on our website. Schools are welcome to apply, and they will then be sent a package of board games, and then they can use them to play. We also supported a Ukraine project with Mikhail Mayutenko, saying hi. Greetings going out to you. He's watching us live today and is organizing a night of games, of playing board games. So, I'm turning to my right-hand side because I wasn't supposed to ask you any question, was I? Not really, but I would reply if you asked me one. Okay, I won't for now, though. Right, so there were a couple of obstacles, were there? It was a bit exciting to go to the action. There were some language-related obstacles, were there? Yes, that's true, but to play, we found games that don't need any talking, so it wasn't that difficult to play with the Ukrainian kids. Because they weren't able to speak any German, were they? No, they weren't. And there were 2 non-hearing kids also. And it worked out well? Yes, it did. Oh, well, I saw the photos of you playing with the Ukrainian kids. Everyone loved it, and I was a bit envious, actually. I wasn't able to take part. But still, I'm turning to you now, asking a question. Why do you think that each school would need such a board game initiative? Well, so that the kids in the school can move closer together through the board games, and so that the kids can actually play together, and so that kids can find friends from other classes, so that when somebody is able to play the game really well, and if they're an outsider, they can still meet new friends. And I think that's important. Big round of applause. Okay, right. So there are a couple of adults in the audience who are already eager and waiting. We have to set them free now because there is this envelope. You know, you were raffling before who was the one to do it, and you will be the one to open the envelope and pull out the sheet and tell us what's on that little piece of paper. But I will announce the Kinderspiel of the year 2025 is Topp Torte. Spiele and Topp Torte are the winners. Beautiful. I would like to ask to the stage now Wolfgang Warsch, the author, Heike Wilken, the editor, Axel Pleitenhofen, the boss of Schmidt Spiele, and everyone else at Schmidt Spiele is also welcome to join us on stage. You did it so well, kids. Thank you very much. Another round of applause goes to the kids. So where's the boss? Okay, stage is yours. Congratulations. Okay, stage is yours. Wow, so all good things are 4, as I dare say. I wasn't thinking about anything to say because there was such fierce competition. I'm supposed to be brief now, and I will. Just saying briefly, Schmidt Spiele, the whole team at Schmidt Spiele who've been supporting me all these years. Let me say thank you for this excellent collaboration. Axel, thank you so much for everything you've done in the last years. Thanks for everything you made possible. Maike, thank you. Each game we've done together has been nothing but fun. I've been so happy with every game I was able to do with you. Thank you so much. I will be brief. Just real quick. Please, the big thanks goes to my 2 kids, to my 2 children who are my best test gamers. Without you, none of my children's games would ever have been born. You are the most important thing to me in the world. I wouldn't have invented any children's game. And also thanks to my wife, Caroline, who, in spite of her hard work, can support me when once a week I go to test games and when I need some space to myself, when I have to go for a 2-hour walk. And she's my toughest critic also. So thanks to you, dear family. Wow. So this was the 4th attempt at doing it, at saying this. I would like to hand the thanks back to you, Wolfgang. Every game we've been doing together has been such a lot of fun. We finally were able to do this now. Thank you very much. And we finally got to winning this prize. Wonderful. Okay, so you're welcome to take it with you. Don't leave it here. Take it with you. Congratulations to Wolfgang Warsch. Okay, lovely. This was our first category, the Kinderspiel des Jahres. And we will move on to the Kennerspiel. Exactly, we will move on to Kennerspiel. We have 3 nominees for Kennerspiel, and we will start in alphabetical order with a deep dive, and we will go to take a deep dive into one of the most immersive games ever.
In Endeavour, die Tiefsee, ist es eure Aufgabe, in verschiedenen Szenarien den Ozean zu beschützen und dabei Stück für Stück die Unterwasserwelt zu erforschen. Jede Runde vergrößert ihr eure Crew und damit eure Möglichkeiten. Ihr erweitert den Spielplan und entdeckt neue Gebiete, fördert Meeresschutzprojekte, erfasst Publikationen und erweitert euren Einfluss, um die Szenarioziele zu erfüllen. Wer clever plant und sein Team gezielt einsetzt, wird die meisten Siegpunkte sammeln und das Spiel gewinnen.
And win the game.
Ja, das ist.
Hallo?
Hallo, Steff.
Hi, Steph. This is Endeavour, and this is our jury colleague, Jeff Kessler. Jeff, why is Endeavour so special? Well, Endeavour is a game full of rewards. They start very small. You start very small with 1 crew member, and then you expand. You have a lot of progression. And also on the game board, so many things are happening, and you go deeper and deeper into the ocean, and you can see it. It is not just abstract things that you do, but many things are happening. Okay, so let us ask more people to join us on stage. We have Karl de Visser. They came from all the way from New Zealand with a submarine. So Karl de Visser and Gerald Gray, welcome to Berlin.
Congratulations.
And we will continue chronologically, although we now have to show the video from the end to the beginning. But no, we're not going to do this. Here's Far Away.
In Far
Away, you travel into the mysterious world of Alula. Each round, you put a card on your tableau. Along the way, you'll encounter creatures that promise victory points for specific sets of symbols or regions. At the end of your journey, you look back. What was played last is scored first. Only cards that have already been revealed count for the next scoring. So is the journey the destination, or is the beginning the end? Only the inhabitants of Alula know the secret. Whoever scores the most victory points wins the game. Steph, honestly, how many games did you have to play? How many games did you have to play? You have something to do with mathematics until you understood the game and how to play it well. I think I haven't understood it yet. It's still a challenge for me, and that's the great thing about the game. You start, and then you think that it is something ordinary until you understand this one twist, which is actually a small thing, but it triggers totally different thinking processes, and this motivates you, really. You train the people, and while you do this, they have this aha effect, and they say, I got it. But let us play again. And also, when you play it a second time, something goes wrong, but this is why this game is so great. Okay, and we would also like to welcome Johannes Huppi.
You have to move backwards.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Heute nicht dabei, aber der Applaus
who is not here today, but of course the applause is also his or hers, actually, Corinto Ombra, the co-author. And last but not least, we also have a third Kennerspiel nominee. We could also nominate fewer, no? No, this is the absolute minimum. This would be absolutely new territory or loot. Yeah, speaking of new territory, Neuland or loot. In loot, you set out as Vikings to conquer lucrative new areas. Coming from the ocean, you expand across the map. Along the way, you raid resources and buildings to grow your settlement as profitably as possible. Competing for trophies and matching upgrade tiles will help you reach your goal. Whoever collects the most victory points will become the greatest Jarl of their time and win the game.
Ja, Steff. Wikinger anlegen,
So,
ausbreiten und
Vikings
aufbauen. Das ist das, was wir tun. Wie fühlt sich das
basically expand their territory. How does this feel? It feels very nicely, but what I like in particular is the two levels. I have the puzzle, this is kind of my own game, and I have the different tiles that I have to put on it, but then you have this confrontative or confrontational aspect, so that you expand on a map and you have to fight on this map, and I like the combination of the two. It's a very elegant combination. Okay, so we would now like to ask the two authors to join us on stage, Charles Chevalier and Laurent Escoffier.
Congratulations.
When is the point where you would say, our game is ready to rumble? It is perfect, nothing to add, nothing to reduce.
Well, we, with Laurent, we work on this game, on this mechanics from 10 years ago. So it's a long way, and there was coloring books, etc., and then we arrive with Shgamik to two different half games. The center was something very tactical, opportunistic, and then the fjord, the part of a puzzle game, a solo puzzle game, is very strategic. And this game became something special because you have both in the same game.
You have to put the two halves together.
Yeah, exactly.
To make it work.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of different publishers. The game has some sort of history, like with the previous games. How can you give us a short introduction? How did this all come together with the new topic and the new game and the new ideas that's inside it?
Well, when we were looking at how to bring Endeavour to more people, Mark and Helena suggested an underwater theme, and they were thinking of looking at Endeavour in just the same way, but as underwater. And I sort of thought, well, we've got this great system, and Carl and I have been wanting to make something in the same system for a while, and so we kind of pitched back at them, we'll take the underwater theme and let's do something different with it. Let's make a new game using the same Endeavour system that we know works really well, and let's change what people are trying to do in this game and make it more about the exploration, the discovery, and things that like we want to do as players and enjoy, and like have the game be more uplifting.
I mean, traveling and like exploring is also your topic in the game. But obviously the thing that you talked about, the gimmick, is like the reverse order of the counting the points. Was that like your first idea for the game, or did that develop during time?
Yes, exactly. The main idea of the game is to have a filler, like a small time game for a party, and with a really special mechanic to inside. So with Corentin, we have find this mechanic go back directly in the beginning of the design, and after that stay and at the end.
For many casual gamers, this is a very new concept. You have to go forward, then you have to go backward again. How do you teach your game?
What I teach.
Yeah, how do you teach it? How do you explain to new players what it's all about?
Yeah, normally it's a little bit difficult, because if you explain well, the player play, and after maybe 3 or 4 cards, they say, I know, I understand. So the main way is to say you have to make a travel, a journey, and after you go back, and the people that you have meet at the front of you make validate it and go back.
Easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of modern games have like a system where everybody plays for him or herself on their own board. You combined both, like the traditional, everybody plays on the central board, but you also have like something to do on your own board. How far into the development did this idea came up?
How I explained before, before we have only the center of the game, the opportunistic with a coloring book. And then we arrived to the conclusion that we must have meeples in there for it was more practical and more gaming. And then with these meeples we say, okay, we take back resources from the center, and then we said, okay, perhaps can we do something with these resources? It's not only a counting table, but something more strategic. And it becomes the idea of the fjord, that our own fjord. And we developed this idea during more than 1 year, 1.5 years. And then we arrived to this game that has the 2 ideas in there. And all the time you said, okay, I take these resources, but it's a second question, where I place it in on my plate, on my board.
Each game has a skeleton of mathematics. It can't be otherwise. But it also needs the beauty of a beautiful story. How important is that? Because Endeavor tells a coherent story of goals we want to achieve, we want to go deeper, we want to find out stuff. How important is the story for you, and when did you start to develop it? In which part of the process?
Very early, the discussion of sort of what the player experiences is like a sort of very hopeful, expansive sort of you're going deeper and deeper, and we knew the kind of things you wanted to explore. There is a lot of ocean research we got to look at. It was very exciting. We couldn't cram all of the interesting things in the game, but it was very cool to give those sort of moment-to-moment bits of excitement when you discovered a particular thing, but also to give you a sort of a sense of progression of you are making a real impact on the world and making a positive difference, as well as having a very good sort of serious game, lots of points kind of experience.
Okay.
One more question. You also included a cooperative mode. Is that something that needs to be done nowadays in our modern culture of board games, like a solo mode, cooperative mode, everything has to be inside the game? Or was that something like you wanted really to do?
I think it's really difficult these days to not include a solo mode, but when we were developing the game, we knew the solo mode would just come from the way the game played, and that when we were working on it, we felt like the co-op mode and the solo mode were very, very similar, and that we could incorporate like more players just working cooperatively. And I think also the game itself lends itself to that cooperative feeling. It's like, yes, when you play it competitively, you actually can share spaces and get these rewards together. And then the idea of the big idea of the game is that you're actually trying to help preserve the ocean. And so working cooperatively together to do that, to achieve these goals, just made sense. So we really wanted to kind of push that as something that we want players to play it that way.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so let us move to the unofficial motto of this evening. Don't forget the Empfehlungsliste, the list of recommendations. Thank you so much.
All right, let's take a look at the list of recommendations for this year. Exactly, I'm looking forward to that, excited. And in case you did not know, we're not just moderators, but we're also part of the jury. So that is why we'd like to take a look at the list of recommendations with you and what's all on there. Oh my goodness, how much have we talked about these games, and wow, a fantastic time. List of recommendations, let's take a look at it. Exactly. The Gang, the first one, a wonderful collaborative game. We just talked about co-op games. It's a poker game, really. We have Texas Hold'em as a cooperative idea that works so wonderfully. It does remind us of The Crew, but with these poker elements that work so well. Well, poker was like that to me. I'm not a poker player, really. But, I mean, it did get me so thrilled, so excited. It was so easily accessible. You might need this auxiliary help card to get your head around it, but then you want to get the thing home. And now let's come to the next game. Corey is a game with a beautiful story behind it, because the publishing house saw the game in English at the fair and asked about where they could buy it in German, and it didn't exist, so they said, would they do it themselves? And they established their own publishing house and went straight to the list of recommendations. It's an asymmetrical game, so every person has a different role. You see the different roles on the cover, the Englishman, the Kiwi, and the possum, and they play against one another. And you forgot about the Maori. The Maori is also there, and they are played differently. You have a little manual on the strategy and how to play it. And what's been fascinating me about this game is that it has such a low entry barrier, and it shows how important the presence at the gaming table is. Whoever sees it wants to give it a try, give it a shot, and wants to move around with the possums and the kiwis. And for a game with that complex background, it's such a perfect example to me of how the work the authors did and the editors did was not handed down as unnecessarily complex to the players. And you don't have to over-explain, because the end goal is to score 7 points. And the next game is Medical Mysteries, NYC Emergency Room. So that has us put on the white gowns and play as if we were in General Hospital, or play Dr. House, Emergency Room, and what they're all called. I think it's made for the fans of those shows. It's very special also. It's about real disease. It's about real stories and human lives, and that's the thrilling thing about these fictional hospital shows or medical shows. And then you get people to be playing the games who would love that more than playing board games. Well, just imagine you're in a type of escape room at the gaming table. It's not like you're not escaping from an enclosed room, but you're really playing, you're in an emergency room, and you need to be able to stand the idea of blood. Right. Okay, so this was the list of recommendations. Great. Wow. So it's time for our next guest to join us on stage. No, let's wait. There's Harald there. And we forgot about Zenith. Or else Zenith. Zenith is a wonderful play, like two people battling about the galactic powers. You can also play 2-on-2. It's a beautiful game, fascinating because it works just as well as the dual game, and it feels totally different. You have two separate games in one box that show us how well communication can go also between the people forming the teams. It's fascinating. Now joining us on stage is Harald Schapers, the chairman of our organization, and let's speak about the cohort of this year. How many games were played by the jury? Well, it's not like Christoph said it before. We had so many more games on the table than the year before. It's getting more and more every year. All in all, and I'm including the children's games, 476 games were on the table. That was such a challenge for the jury members, and I have to tell you that it was such great fun, and thank you so much to everyone who participated, not just the ones present here in the room today. We also played so many more board games, and most games were great fun. Okay, great. So playing board games is not something that stands on its own, but it also depends on big players in real life. The industry is fighting the tariffs, the war on tariffs right now. Many games are produced in China and game playing is international, but the whole industry is also global. What does it mean for this industry, for the board game industry, and what does it mean for the final customers? Are they getting more, better, less games? Well, I couldn't tell you whether it's better games, better, higher quality. You only know when you open the box. But it's not getting more games. It could become less games because the tariffs Mr. Trump has introduced mean that the board game, as a production of culture, as a creative work of art, will probably not be there because the creative minds are in one place in the world, and the ones who produce the games are in a different place in the world. And tariffs will mean there's an obstacle to the production and release of new games. But I'm rather worried about the restriction of liberties of all sorts in the US, because game playing is a cultural good, and creative brains need freedom of press, need free expression, and this is why our association is advocating for freedom. And we are also committed to the project Playing for Tolerance, against anti-Semitism, against racism, and the like. We all know from our own experience, we just heard it from the kids from school, that playing games does connect people, also internationally. What's the international importance of board games? Well, Spiel des Jahres is the oldest jury award there is, which is why it has a global importance. Not just people from Ukraine are watching tonight, but also people from the US. There's some public screenings there also, and all across Europe. And we have some guests here. There aren't just juries across Germany, but there's some people from the Netherlands here. There's some representatives from Italy here, from the Italian jury, and the largest scene or crowd of fans and game players are in France, in Cannes, where also there is a jury prize awarded, and we have to tell you that we can't quite compete with Cannes Beach in France. It is a lot more glorious. There's a lot more glam there, of course, but there's somebody from Astor, Jude Delany, Penelope, and she's joining us on stage now.
Willkommen, welcome.
Thank you.
Bonjour, bitte. Harald just said we visited you in Cannes at the beautiful Croissant de Côte d'Azur. Would you rate the Spreeufer here in regards to your award?
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Usually we have sunny weather on the ceremony, so sorry for that. Excuse-moi.
The last 2 days were so-so.
Yeah.
But it's my first time in Berlin, and it was I've spent an amazing time. So, and I'm really honored to be here. So thank you so much for the invitation.
So yesterday you were guest at our board game night. How would you describe the difference between French and German gaming culture, board game culture?
Wow.
Wow.
That's a big question. I'm not sure I have the right answers, but I will try. French designers create maybe more lightweight and family and mid-weight game than you do. You do marvelous heavy game that I love. And in France, it's very important to have a big interaction between players. The social aspect of gaming, of the board game we are played, is very important. We have to be mean with each other. We have to laugh. And it's very important. In fact, we don't say board game. We say society games.
Ah, okay.
That's how we call
Gesellschaftsspiel.
Jeu de société.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see that right, that games where you be mean to each other, and if you play those in a family, we always say like, wow, that will create a lot of tears like between parents and the kids. But in France, that's like a good sign, right? That's what she said.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Like in For a Crown, we like to
I
make children cry.
Yes.
No,
But
sorry.
I also had the impression, like during your ceremony, I was there at the Asdor, that you make fun of each other, like on stage all the time,
All
like
the time.
very mean, like this is our chef, and he's like sniffing coke and stuff like that. And we Germans were sitting like in the audience, like, did you just said that?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different
Yes,
like cultural
we
aspects.
like to bully ourselves.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything.
We
love each other very much.
So you think we need a mean game of the year?
Yes, of course. No.
The meanest game of the year.
You also said yesterday to me that you think French people in the French board game audience likes the games to be more beautiful, or
Well, it is very important in France that the games looks I don't remember, looks good. The illustration is very, very important.
Do you think there's a certain French chick to board games?
Yeah, I don't know if we are right and if we have good taste, but we put a lot of importance in it, and we want to make the illustrators shine more. And yeah, there is a myth. I don't know if I can say it. I told you before.
All right.
All right.
So let's.
They didn't want me to do it.
Well,
Come here, Frau.
Right. The Kennerspiel of the year 2025 is Endeavor Deep Sea.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch. Und wir
Congratulations! So please come to the stage, Mark Betzke, and the whole team, Karl de Visser, Jared Gray, everyone, Daniel, and a couple of more people will not come to the stage, but these people did all join that team.
Come up. The stage is yours, please.
The stage is yours. Congratulations.
So, the stage is yours.
There's a lot of people to thank for this journey, but the first and foremost would be our publishers, Helena and Mark, who really trusted us with this idea. We knew Endeavour worked, but they didn't know that this would work. And so when we pitched it to them, they said, go for it, let's do it. Instead of just doing something that was known, they wanted to do something that was unknown. And that they had the trust in us to do that was amazing. So we got to build this game, and then our wonderful German publishers have come on board, and they love the game just as much as we do, and that's incredible. It's been amazing to us how much they want this game out in the public. So yeah, so excited for that.
And special thanks to all our play testers who knocked some rough burrs off the games as we tested it a lot, and I feel we owe a lot to them, so there's a few of those.
There's some absolutely beautiful artwork in this game, and Josh and Marusha and the artwork really helps to tell the story, so I think it's so important for what this game is and how the game develops. So thank you so much.
I don't have anything prepared, but I just want to thank this incredible team. Amazing. We've come a really long way in the last several years, and I'm incredibly proud of the package that we've created and all of the hard work of the designers and the artists and my partner Mark. And so wonderful to be partnered with this incredible German team from Frosted and Board Game Circus, and we're really proud. Thank you.
Right. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right, 2 of 3 we have had in terms of categories, and now we will move on to the last category, and our colors match anthracite and red. So this is our red category, Spiel des Jahres. And of course, we have asked a juror to join us on stage, and we have videos. We will start with Bomb Busters.
In Bomb Busters
seid ihr Teil eines aufstrebenden Bombenentschärfungsteams.
Ihr haltet eine Vielzahl unterschiedlicher Kabel in euren Händen. Mit nur wenigen Hinweisen versucht ihr herauszufinden, wo sich welches Kabel auf den Händen eurer Crewmitglieder befindet. Doch Vorsicht, rätst du rum, macht's schnell. Jeder der 66 Missionen stellt euch vor neue Herausforderungen und bietet euch verschiedene Hilfsmittel, euren gefährlichen Job zu meistern. Nur wenn ihr aufmerksam zusammenspielt, werdet ihr es schaffen, die Bomben rechtzeitig zu entschärfen und das Spiel zu gewinnen.
Bravo.
Hello, Michaela. You are part of the jury. We are going to talk to you in a minute. But I would now like to say a big thank you to Formativ for the wonderful videos. They really deserve a huge applause. Thank you for the great videos. Our colleague Cornelia is here on stage with us. So what is so great about Bomb Busters? Well, they try to apply logics, and with the open information, we try to find the right number tiles. And we are introduced in the ABC of bomb disposal. We get more and more number tiles, and it's just fun to master these challenges together as a team and to guess which number tile is with which player. It's really exciting. Wonderful. So then let us ask the author to join us on stage, Isashi Hayashi.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
The second nomination leads us to Bavaria. It's called Flip 7. And we have a video.
Flip 7
Flip
ist ein
7 is a
Kartenspiel,
card
bei dem
game
ihr
where you
euer Glück
test your
herausfordert.
luck.
Ihr versucht
You
Punkte
try
zu
to score
bekommen, indem ihr
points by
Karten mit
collecting
unterschiedlichen
cards
Werten
with
sammelt.
different
Jede
values.
Runde
Each
dürft ihr
round you
entscheiden,
decide,
ob ihr eine Karte
take
nehmen
another
möchtet
card
oder lieber
or
aussteigen
stop
und die Punkte
and
sichern.
keep your
Denn
points.
solltet ihr eine Zahl zweimal
But
bekommen,
watch out,
seid ihr
if
für die
you
Runde
draw
raus
the same
und
number
geht leer
twice,
aus.
you're out
Mit
and score nothing.
Sonderkarten lassen
Special
sich
cards earn
Extrapunkte
you bonus
verdienen
points
oder der Ablauf
or let you
beeinflussen.
tweak the game.
Nur wer im
Only
richtigen
those who
Moment etwas
take a
wagt,
risk at the
wird
right
zuerst
time
die
will be
200
first
Punkte
to hit
knacken
200
und das
points
Spiel
and
gewinnen.
win the game.
Ja.
Hold on, hold on. I have to correct myself. I just said Flip 7 comes from Bavaria. No, it is from the 7 Barzies, and they are from Bavaria. The next game, I just wanted to correct myself. The 7 Barzies come next, but now we talk about Flip 7, and we will talk to you, Michaela, about the game. This is a game which is in a very small box, and it contains a lot of emotions, and it's easily accessible. What is your record? How long does it take to explain this? Well, you can explain it while playing. You start playing and then you explain the games to the players. So it is really easy. Okay, very easy, you're saying? So what is so special about Flip 7? What does it do to us? Well, it triggers a lot of emotions and it creates a wonderful mood at the table. You really hope for the next card. You hope that you weren't too greedy. And if you pokered and gambled wrong, then you are sure to be exposed to Schadenfreude by the others. So a lot of emotions, although it is rather a simple game. All right. Without further ado, we would like to ask the author, Erik Olsen, to join us on stage.
Bravo. Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations.
Okay, and now the 7 Barzies from Bavaria. Crackle of Rackle is the game. Here's the video.
Crackle Orakel ist ein kooperatives Zeichenspiel.
Drawing game.
Zunächst bekommt jeder eine
Everyone gets a
Krakeltafel
scribble
und eine
board and a
zufällige
random
Orakelkarte.
oracle
Dann habt ihr
card.
2 Minuten
Then you have
Zeit,
2
den
minutes
Begriff
to
zu
scribble the
krakeln.
term.
Dabei dürft ihr jedoch
However,
nur die
you may
vorgegebenen
only use
Linien
the
eurer
predefined
Krakeltafel
lines
nutzen.
of your scribble board.
Jetzt wird Orakel
Now it's
und
time
ihr
to
versucht, die
oracle and you
Kunstwerke
try
der
to
anderen zu
decipher the other
entschlüsseln
players'
und
works
nicht
of art
passende Orakelkarten
and exclude oracle
auszuschließen.
cards that don't
Nur wenn
match.
ihr
Only
kreativ
if you
werdet
get
und euch in
creative
eure
and
Teammitglieder
empathize with
reindenken
your
könnt,
team
werdet
members,
ihr das Spiel
will
gewinnen.
you win the game. Michaela, do you have to be able to draw? No, you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be able to draw. You just have to an idea of how to use the dotted line and then kind of draw and scribble the term that is on your card, and the others have to guess it. And there is no limits to creativity, and great, really great images and pictures are drawn. Okay, now 6 of the 7 Barzies are here, and we will ask them to join us on stage, please. Welcome.
Bravo.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Congratulations.
Vielleicht ein bisschen da rüber, das kommt vor. Am besten so.
Danke.
So, ich muss auch noch zu sehen sein. Hallo.
I also want to be in the picture.
Wir müssen jetzt einmal die
Okay,
Frage
now
klären.
here's one
Dieses
question.
Bild auf der
This
Schachtel,
picture
kann
here
man
on the
das
box,
tatsächlich
can you
im
really
Spiel malen?
draw it?
Fast.
Almost.
Das einzige Problem
The only problem is that if we had taken the original, then the mouth would be upside down. And of course, we wanted to have a smiling mouth. So the mouth is the only thing that was turned. The rest can be scribbled and drawn, yes. Okay, they're already cheating on the cover here of the box. Wow, incredible. So
game. We just said with our colleague that you don't need to explain the game. You can start explaining the game while playing it. Was it always the case, or did you like reduce until you reached the final state of this game?
It's always been fairly simple to get started with it. So there's been a lot of changes, but small changes.
Yeah. Ihr habt mir im Vorgespräch auch gesagt,
now, in the run-up to this event, you told me that reducing elements triggered your creativity. This is exactly what is happening in the game. So your design process basically has an impact on the game, I suppose. Yeah, exactly. So we try to reduce the possibilities for the drawing person. We also try not to develop the entire range, but we focus. And here, the drawing person has a very limited number of options that they can use.
One of the last games you made was Voll verplant, which was greatly inspired by your hometown. I hope this game is not.
フォーファプラントは実家の ID から生まれたゲームなんですけど、こちらのゲームはもちろん自分の経験から生まれたゲームではないんですよね。爆弾の経験はないんですよね。
全くありません。
No, of course not.
So what was your inspiration for the game?
このゲームを考えたきっかけは何でしたっけ？
もともと日本のトランプゲームでよくやられているババ抜きというゲームがあるんですけども、それを協力ゲームにしたいと思って作りました。
So there's a traditional card game in Japan that's called Babanuki, and he used the basics of that games to make it a cooperative experience. That's what he had in mind when he started creating the game.
Did you try to? I mean, there's a lot of missions in the game. There's 66 missions. Was it like? We have one more idea. So when did you try to stop yourself from adding more and more to the game?
ミッションの数は66までですけど、元々のゲームは50でしたね。で、もう毎回新しい ID が出てきて、いつもうミッションは十分と思ったのはいつですか？
ゲームを作った時にアイデアが20を超えていたので、どうにか最初はミッション制じゃなかったんですけども、どうにかして全部再現したいと思って、とりあえず最初50個にしました。
So at first there was no mission in the game. It was just one game with one experience. And he started having ideas to make mission, and started with 20 and had more, and ended up with 50 in the original game, and now 66 in the international version. Yeah.
Talking about cooperative games, euer Spiel ist ja ein kooperatives
Your
Spiel.
game is a cooperative game, but you also have to cooperatively collaborate. What does Bazi actually mean? I come from Hamburg. This is our Bavarian dialect that we picked consciously, and I also got it in a podcast earlier. So this is not really an international name, but you easily remember it. A Bazi is somebody who babbles a lot, who is kind of tricky and naughty and can really develop cool games.
Ja. Wie muss man sich
Okay, so what does your development process look like? How did it go? Did you have a fixed jour, a meeting once a week, or how does this work if you cooperatively develop a game? Well, we might have accomplished things faster if we had met on a regular basis, but most guys live in Munich. We also spend a lot of time in Munich, Chris and I, and we try to make sure that we get together on a regular basis. And we also have video calls, and then, yeah, this is how it works. So this is how we cooperatively try to develop this great game.
I discussed with the Kinderspiel prize, with the kids' games, that a lot of the games have a specific audience in mind. How is it with your game? Like, what's your experience like with playing it with kids, playing it with older people? Do they react differently to the, in German we have the wonderful word Schadenfreude, which would also be like a wonderful name for the game, right?
Yep. I think most audiences respond the same. So I've played with grandparents, I've played with 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds, I've played with people my own age.
And they still all talk to you.
They're still your friends, right?
Yeah, still your friends.
So there's that element, the French element, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a heavy Euro game, I suppose you would say. But in the end, the games are supposed to be fun. And that's what I'm designing in mind for everybody at the table to sit down and have fun. And that's hopefully what's happening with Flip 7.
Yeah.
Ja, dann unser
All right, so our unofficial motto is, don't forget the nominees and don't forget the list of recommendations. Thank you to all of you.
Traveling from far away and closer. And good luck and thank you. Congratulations. You can take that with you.
Yeah, you too. Manu, du weißt schon, dass wir nach Far Away,
so you know that after Far Away we will have to go backwards and do reverse moderation. You know? Well, that's okay, but let's go to the list of recommendations now, which we also have for the Spiel des Jahres. So, Agent Avenue has fans here, and one is here up on the stage. 2 are here up on the stage. Here again, we have a tug-of-war game again. Harald was asking about trends in the gaming industry, and tug-of-war is one of those topics, 2 agents chasing one another. And it's like a catch-me-if-you-can sort of game, because we're running after one another in circles. And just like here on the stage is a wonderful team mode with a different game mechanic with its own thrill, beautiful visuals, wonderful game. Next game is Castle Combo. Very, very well-deserved applause. It is a marvelous game which has a grid that is laid out of 9 cards, and players have to get the most of it. They think they are building their own village, their own fortress, and, you know, it's so difficult to get skilled workers today, but they have to just make the most of it and get the best cards while they can and have these interact with one another. There are such a wealth of strategies that can potentially lead to victory. It has a beautiful replayability. It's great because you always think, well, next time around I'll try a different approach, I'll get more nobles in. It's a beautiful game of combinations, and you want to play it over and over. And the better you know the cards, the more you want to do it. You think you've seen it all through, and then you think you're going to show everyone how to win this game. Next game is Cities. Here again, there's this French touch. It's a beautiful game to look at, and the game mechanic is also mapped here through the city you choose. It's a tile-based game. You lay tiles, and if it's a big city, Manhattan, New York City, then you have a different structure to what it is you need to do. And on the board, you find the city reflected. It's true. It's about big cities and big plans. So big cities, big plans, big joy. That's what it's all about. And you do create something as you play that game. You have this bird's eye view. You look at the city from above. It's very rewarding. Do we have one more game? I pretend I didn't know. It's Foxy. What an adorable fox with this adorable face, but he really is so malicious. Well, that's true. We're in the Spiel des Jahres category. It's not the Kennerspiel category. And don't be fooled. It is a game that needs a lot of memory. It's not a bad thing if you can't remember correctly. And this is why us adults stand a fair chance against the kids who we play with them. Beautiful game. We have Perfect Words as the next game. It's a cooperative game, which is about a crosswords type of puzzle. Only at the end of the game will we find out whether we really have the same association. And we were always far apart from one another every time we played it. True. Next game, The Animals of Baker Street. It is a true example of how much stories can draw us into a game and how great it is to not just have somebody read you a story from a book, but to read it for yourself and to make your own decisions. And to be meeting strong individual characters. This game has beautiful visuals. It does look a little bit like a children's game. Seems to be also an example of the Kinderspiel category, but who loves to read stories and hear them being read out is the perfect person for this game. So it's never too late for a blissful childhood. And I don't want to name any names, so somebody from the jury said the riddles were too difficult. And I don't mean you now. Okay, right, so we'll leave that here. We'll get Harald to the stage. Harald, so today we have an anniversary to celebrate that we should speak about looking back 30 years. Which game would you think of 30 years ago? Catan, of course. 30 years ago, Catan, a milestone of gaming history. It's a true cultural asset that was created back then. Catan of the late Klaus Teuber, who passed away far too early. And I keep saying it because I have so many memories of Catan, and so do so many other people. It's all about being together, collaboration. So many people loved this game, and thinking back of it today is very, very worth it. It was a true milestone in gaming history. It really shaped pop culture in board games. And there are still shared flats in which the students play Catan to the very day. I remember that last year or the year before at the Games Fair, I saw somebody with a T-shirt saying, "Nobody wants a stupid sheep." And, you know, everyone knew immediately what game that was about. It's really part of pop culture. And it's also something people love to say because we keep referring to Catan in everything we say, also in other games. So how important was Catan and Catan's nomination for the jury? Because the jury is a bit older, and you weren't part of that jury, but how much of an influence was there? Or how much of a mutual influence? Well, it did push the German game to the front at the latest from then, because that was the very big theme, and it spread. The word spread, the game spread through the world today we have a Japanese-made game here and all across the world to Europe. Everywhere, this notion of the German game spread. And there was a lot before that also, because the milestone was only an intermediate step, because Klaus Teuber, it was a third time he won, because there was something he had presented before then. And the Spiel des Jahres jury awarded the first prize in 1979. And we're lucky, because here in the room, we have Jürgen Herz, the founder of Spiel des Jahres. Let's see the video. Jürgen Herz had the idea. This man had the idea of the beach gaming piece. In German, we call it the Pöppel. He still is a consultant. He's 80 years old. Let's look back now to the very first prize awarding ceremony. This is the audience that Essen Popular University HDFSC's families from all Germany had gathered here to play games and to set the stage for the prize awards for the Spiel des Jahres. From hundreds of games, the association Spiele had selected one that was supposed to set aside now. Well, if you consider that every year there's hundreds of releases of games into the market, out of which we selected now 10, and one of them is this Spiel of the Year, and many of them are worth playing, then it's lamentable that not more games will be played by families and that families stick to the conventional games. I'm so happy you had the idea back then, because if it wasn't for that idea, we wouldn't be standing here today and be showing so many games in the world. So tell us about it. What was it like back then when you said this prize is missing? Well, let me tell you. Back then, I had a TV show on games, and I would travel to the games fair every year to Nuremberg. And there I saw how many great games there were every year, but nobody would really notice. And that was how this idea came to my mind, to be awarding a prize to the Game of the Year, because that would mean two things. It would mean there were great new games every year released, and that every year there's a Spiel des Jahres award. So the idea is one thing, but putting it in practice, that meant a lot of things. Let me name just a couple of them. First, I had had the idea in mind for quite some time, and I thought, well, we might be able to do it, but I didn't just want to spread the word as I was walking across the games fair, but I waited until Tom Wernick and one more guy invited me to his home, because they used to gather people to try new games. And I thought that might be the initial start into the new project. And it did happen this way. So we're sitting there by the fireplace, having a drink and having someone to eat. And Alex Reynolds was also part of that group of people. And eventually I presented the suggestion. And we talked about it, but many, many more things had to come together so that the idea sort of funneled into the project that came out, because we needed to get committed people. It was Bartole and Tom Wernick, and also a minister, a female German minister. We asked whether she was ready to provide funding from her ministry. I can't quite recall her name. She was the Federal Minister of Family Affairs in Bonn, the then capital of Germany. She was enthused about the project, and even when she wasn't a family minister anymore. She still would come and join the ceremony. And she said, yes, I'll give you funding, but there's one condition. The prize awarding ceremony must take place in the city of Essen, because that's where my constituency is located. Well, that's the reason how Essen became the capital city of German board games. Exactly. We hosted the prize awarding ceremony in the city of Essen. And years after that, the fact that the board games fair came to Essen also is connected to that, because I had asked the editor of Spielebox back then whether they were ready to do it in Essen instead of in Bonn. And yes, they were. And so the games fair came to Essen also. My fellow jury members didn't really like it, because that was the same place, the Volkshochschule, the popular university, the People's University, and they were saying this is like the games fair competing with the Spiel des Jahres. And then I had to convince my wife, who had to support me because we had 2 young children, and she had to support me also. Jürgen, we just learned almost 500 games were tested this year. How many was it back then? Well, of course, far fewer games. Of course, these boxes with games would come to our doorsteps, but a lot you were able to just put it away because it was just Ludo in a different variety. Have games improved through the years? Yes, the quality has improved. We also introduced some special awards for the mechanic or for the rules of the game or for beautiful visuals, even though that was always a question of taste and we had to abandon the idea. And then I had this second idea, which was about the association. Because back then we said we will found an association, a very German thing to do, like 3 people gather and they form an association straight away. But the association has statutes and rules of procedure, and we defined from the start that only somebody who would be independent of any sales or marketing of any games, that only independent people would be able to become a member in that association. Because, well, everyone had been asked because of their expertise to join. And that was the second argument. So you need this independence, financial independence, unbiased approach, and expertise. And that's the elements that are at least as important as the idea itself.
Jürgen, we have to bestow an award tonight. Really? Yes, really. Well, tonight you can present the prize, and at the time it was Federal Minister Antje Huber, and today you are gonna present the award. The Spiel des Jahres 2025 is Bombusters.
Großartig. Wir bitten auf die Bühne.
So please join us on stage. Hisashi Hayashi. We have Mike Hesaron, Lauterbach, and I would like to shout out for the illustrating person, Dominique Fallot of Pegasus Spiele. We have Carsten Esser and Cornelia Lade. Congratulations to all of you.
まずはこのゲームを世界に出版してくれたカクテルゲームズのチームとペガサスシュピールのチーム皆さんありがとうございます。
So I would first like to thank Cocktail Games for releasing the game internationally, and of course the partner in Germany and more countries, Pegasus Spiel. Thank you very much.
続きましてゴムバスターズに素敵な絵をつけてくれたゴム 2D さんに感謝します。
And thank you also to the wonderful illustrator that made the game something else. Thank you very much.
日本から世界にボードゲームを紹介してくれるヤポンブランドとこちらにいるヤニックさんにも感謝したいと思います。
So I would like to thank, of course, Japon Brand because the game was in the catalog, and I would like to thank myself, which is weird to translate that, for bringing the game to Cocktail Games. So.
あと日本から応援してくれている皆さんにも感謝したいです。
And thank you to everyone in Japan who supported Hisashi. 日本の皆様、やっと取れましたね。
最後に毎週僕の家に来てテストプレイしてくれる仲間とあと最愛の妻に感謝したいと思います。ありがとうございます。
And of course, I would like to say a last thank you to all the people that helped me test play the game in Japan, and of course to my wonderful wife, Ryoko, who is sitting next to me all the time. Thank you very much.
Who else?
I would also like to thank Hisashi for this wonderful game, but I also would like to thank Mathieu of Cocktail Games, who couldn't be here tonight. Thank you to the entire Cocktail Games team. It is wonderful what you have done with the originally Japan version. You have actually created more versions, more varieties, and we are so happy that Cocktail Games trusted us. Thank you. Okay, and now our dear colleagues, please carry up the 3 boxes of all award winners up to the stage. Topp Torte, Endeavor, and Bombasters are the Kinderspiel, the Kennerspiel, and the Spiel des Jahres. Congratulations to all award winners. Please join us on stage and celebrate. And we would like to thank all of you. Thank you for attending this event live. Thank you to all authors, illustrators. Thank you to all publishers. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for creating these awesome games. And thank you also to everybody watching this live on the live stream. We will see you again next year in July. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. Yes, I totally agree. Thank you to all of you. And thank you also to those who were watching live on the live stream. And if you want to know more about games, please visit our website and please play the games. And we will now eat some cake. Thank you so much. See you next year.
Der Stream ist aus. Wir machen jetzt nur hier noch Fotos hier oben. Ja. Vielen lieben Dank, dass ihr da wart. Hat sehr viel Spaß gemacht.
Thank you very much for being here. We're just going to take a couple of photos. Stream is already switched off.